In ancient Greece, a legendary hero named Hercules emerged, renowned for his exceptional strength and bravery. His path to greatness was marred by a tragic event. In a moment of madness fueled by the jealousy of the goddess Hera, Hercules unknowingly caused the death of his own wife and children. Consumed by guilt and seeking redemption, he sought guidance from the Oracle of Delphi. The oracle revealed that Hercules must undertake 12 extraordinary tasks, known as the 12 labors, in order to purify his soul and prove himself worthy of forgiveness. These tasks were assigned by King Eurystheus, Hercules' cousin, and the appointed taskmaster chosen by Hera herself. Hera, harboring deep resentment towards Hercules, hoped that these labors would prove insurmountable and lead to his downfall. The first labor tasked to Hercules was to slay the fearsome Nemean Lion. This lion was unlike any other, for its golden fur was impenetrable and no weapon could pierce it. Hercules set forth on his journey to the land of Nemea, where the lion was wreaking havoc. Hercules finally discovered the lion's lair deep within a dense forest. With caution, Hercules approached the lion, his heart pounding in his chest. As soon as he came within striking distance, the lion let out a thunderous roar that reverberated through the trees. Hercules charged forward. The lion swiped at Hercules with its razor-sharp claws, while Hercules dodged and countered. Blow after blow was exchanged between the two adversaries. Hercules noticed a pattern in the lion's movements. The beast lunged with great force, exposing its vulnerable neck in the process. Seizing the opportunity, Hercules leaped onto the lion's back and wrapped his powerful arms around its throat, using all his might to strangle the creature. Time seemed to stand still as Hercules and the lion engaged in a desperate struggle. Eventually, its roars of defiance turned into feeble gasps for air. Hercules tightened his grip, and with one final surge of energy, he subdued the mighty Nemean lion. He knew he couldn't leave empty-handed, for he had to present proof of his triumph to King Eurystheus. Using the lion's own razor-sharp claws, Hercules removed the creature's resilient golden hide. Hercules fashioned the lion's skin into a majestic cloak. Returning to King Eurystheus, Hercules presented himself, proudly donning the lion's skin cloak. The king was awestruck and overcome with a mixture of admiration and fear. Fresh off his victory over the Nemean lion, the hero Hercules now faced his second daunting task, the slaying of the nine-headed Lernaean Hydra. This monstrous creature was a water serpent with multiple heads. Hercules enlisted the help of his nephew, Iolaus. As Hercules engaged the creature in combat, he swiftly swung his mighty weapon, severing one head after another. But for every head Hercules cut off, two new heads sprouted in its place. Realizing the Hydra's regenerative power, Hercules and Iolaus adjusted their approach. Iolaus swiftly stepped in with a burning torch, cauterizing each stump before new heads could grow. This prevented the Hydra from multiplying its defenses. Gradually, the heads of the Hydra were decapitated one by one, and Iolaus immediately cauterized the stumps. Eventually, Hercules managed to cut off the final head, and Iolaus seared the wound, preventing any regeneration. With the Hydra finally defeated, Hercules discovered that the Hydra's immortal head remained alive. He buried the immortal head deep beneath a rock. Hercules faced a new challenge, capturing the elusive Golden Hind, also known as the Ceryneian Hind. This sacred deer was under the protection of the goddess Artemis. Months turned into seasons as Hercules tirelessly tracked the Golden Hind through dense forests and rugged terrains. Its speed and agility seemed almost supernatural. Finally, after many close encounters, Hercules found himself in the perfect position to intercept the Golden Hind. With a swift and calculated movement, Hercules managed to ensnare the Golden Hind, his touch gentle yet firm. He recognized the importance of capturing the deer unharmed, as it was a vessel of divine significance. Arriving before King Eurystheus, Hercules presented the magnificent Golden Hind. The king, astounded by the grandeur of the creature, demanded that Hercules hand over the deer's golden hide. Hercules, driven by a deep sense of respect for the goddess Artemis and her sacred deer, knew he had made a promise to protect the creature from harm. He looked into King Eurystheus's eyes, and with a nod of acceptance, Hercules gently released the Golden Hind, allowing it to gracefully bound away into the wild. In fulfilling his task and honoring his promise to the goddess of the hunt, Hercules continued on his path, determined to face the remaining labors. Tasked with capturing the fearsome Erymanthian boar, he journeyed to the treacherous slopes of Mount Erymanthus. Hercules tracked the boar's movements, carefully navigating the rugged terrain. As the boar charged towards him, Hercules stood firm, his muscles tensed and ready. With swift reflexes, he grappled with the mighty creature, struggling to gain control. After a fierce battle, Hercules managed to subdue the Erymanthian boar. Wrapping strong ropes around the boar's massive body, he secured it tightly. With the boar captured, Hercules triumphantly returned to King Eurystheus, presenting the mighty beast as proof of his success. Continuing on his quest, Hercules faced a seemingly impossible labor, cleaning the Augean stables in a single day. The stables belonged to King Augeas and housed an enormous number of cattle. Arriving at the stables, he pondered the best approach to complete the task in the limited time given. Hercules devised a plan. With the aid of the gods, he decided to redirect the rivers Alpheus and Peneus to flow through the stables, flushing away the accumulated filth. Hercules diverted the rivers, channeling their mighty currents directly into the stables. The rushing water surged through the muck, carrying away the accumulated waste with incredible force. However, Hercules' journey did not end there, for he still had more labors to fulfill. Next, Hercules faced a perilous task, slaying the menacing Stymphalian. These ferocious birds were man-eaters, their sharp beaks and piercing cries striking fear into the hearts of all who encountered them. Drawing strength from the goddess Athena, Hercules sought her guidance and assistance. Athena, impressed by his courage, offered him a rattle crafted by the skilled hands of Hephaestus. Equipped with the rattle, Hercules approached the Stymphalian marshes. With a mighty shake of the rattle, Hercules produced a deafening sound that echoed through the marshes. The Stymphalian birds, startled by the noise, took to the skies. Hercules drew his bow and arrows and unleashed a volley of shots upon the birds. Arrow after arrow soared through the air, finding their marks. The Stymphalian birds fell one by one. With this labor accomplished, Hercules' journey continued. His next task was to capture the mighty Cretin Bull. Arriving in Crete, Hercules sought the guidance of King Minos. As the Cretin Bull charged towards him, Hercules stood tall. Finally, through sheer perseverance, Hercules subdued the mighty Cretin Bull. With his firm grip, he brought the creature to its knees, effectively neutralizing its destructive rampage. Hercules returned to King Eurystheus, proudly presenting the captured Cretin Bull as evidence of his success. His next task: to complete the 12 labors, Hercules had to steal the man-eating mares of Diams, horses belonging to the fearsome Thracian king. Hercules set out to tame the unbridled power of the mares and bring them to King Eurystheus. He managed to calm the horses, gradually gaining their trust. Hercules skillfully led the horses away from the kingdom of Thrace. As he guided them towards King Eurystheus, the mares underwent a remarkable transformation. No longer driven by their insatiable appetite for human flesh, they became noble creatures under Hercules' influence. Arriving before King Eurystheus, Hercules presented the once ferocious mares of Diams, now tamed and docile. Journeying to the land of the Amazons, Hercules faced the daunting challenge of persuading Hippolyta to relinquish her prized possession, the girdle of Hippolyta. She agreed to negotiate. However, the goddess Hera, seeking to hinder Hercules, took on the guise of an Amazon warrior and spread rumors that Hercules intended to harm Hippolyta and steal the girdle. Misled by Hera's deceit, a battle ensued between Hercules and the Amazons. Realizing the treachery of Hera's words, Hercules managed to communicate his true intentions to Hippolyta. Recognizing his sincerity and bravery, the queen agreed to give him the coveted girdle. With the girdle of Hippolyta in his possession, Hercules left the land of the Amazons. Continuing his quest, he had to retrieve the cattle of Geryon, a monstrous giant with 3 powerful bodies. These magnificent cattle, with their golden hides, resided far away, guarded by the mighty Geryon. Hercules approached Geryon, ready to face whatever lay ahead. In a fierce battle of strength, Hercules clashed with the 3-bodied giant. Hercules managed to overpower Geryon, seizing control of the magnificent cattle. Hercules arrived in Greece, triumphantly leading the cattle of Geryon to King Eurystheus. King Eurystheus wanted 2 more tasks from Hercules because he didn't think some of the hero's previous accomplishments counted. One of these tasks was to bring him golden apples that belonged to Zeus, the king of the gods. These special apples were given to Zeus as a wedding gift by Hera. These apples were kept in a garden at the edge of the world, guarded by a fierce dragon with 100 heads named Ladin, and the Hesperides, who were nymphs and daughters of Atlas, a powerful titan. Hercules arrived at Mount Caucasus, where he found Prometheus, a trickster who had angered the gods. Prometheus was chained to the mountain, and every day, a monstrous eagle would come and eat his liver. Hercules killed the eagle, ending Prometheus' torment. In gratitude, Prometheus shared a secret with Hercules. To get the golden apples, Hercules needed to send Atlas, a titan who carried the weight of the sky and the earth, to fetch them. Atlas was tired of his burden and agreed to help Hercules, thinking he could finally pass it on to someone else. As predicted by Prometheus, Atlas went to the garden while Hercules took his place, holding up the heavy weight of the world. When Atlas returned with the golden apples, he planned to deliver them to Eurystheus himself. But Hercules had a clever idea. He asked Atlas to hold the burden again for a moment so he could put padding on his shoulders. While Atlas took back the weight, Hercules seized the opportunity, grabbed the golden apples, and quickly returned to Eurystheus, leaving Atlas with his old burden. Hercules faced his most formidable and final task, capturing and bringing back Cerberus, the terrifying 3-headed dog that guarded the gates of the underworld. To accomplish this labor, Hercules had to venture into the depths of the underworld without the use of any weapons. Navigating the treacherous terrain, Hercules reached the gates of the underworld, where Cerberus stood guard, its 3 heads snarling and its monstrous form filling the air with dread. Hercules knew that brute force would not be the solution to this challenge. Approaching Cerberus with caution, Hercules recognized the fierce loyalty the dog held for its realm. Understanding this bond, he sought permission from Hades, the ruler of the underworld, to bring Cerberus to the surface world for a brief time. With the blessing of Hades, Hercules began his task of subduing the mighty Cerberus. With the monstrous dog under his command, Hercules began the ascent from the depths of the underworld, bringing Cerberus back to the mortal realm. Arriving before King Eurystheus, Hercules presented Cerberus, now subdued and obedient. With the 12 labors now behind him, Hercules had transformed from a mere mortal into a legendary figure.